Hey, Shalom Akim. That's the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect brothers out there that's kicking the word with truth and sincerity. I just ran across a couple articles while I was at work, doing some research, and I came across a bill, or I'll say an executive order that just got passed on July the 1st by Barack Obama. All right, and this executive order pretty much gives the UN and the military access to pretty much detain quote-unquote American citizens and gives them authorization to use force, the military to use force against American citizens, which would be the first time in U.S. history. All right, so this is an article here. The website is www.militarytimes.com. If any brothers want to look, Lord willing, I'll post the links, and I'll copy the links into the post-production. But this title says, U.S. approves UN use of force to protect civilians in conflict. All right, so it says here, the United Nations. The United States has announced its support for a set of principles that give a green light for UN peacekeeping troops and police to use force to protect civilians in armed conflicts. U.S. Ambassador Samantha Power told a high-level UN meeting Wednesday, focusing on the responsibility to protect civilians, that the United States was quote-unquote proud and quote-unquote humbled to join 28 other countries that have pledged to abide by the 18 pledges. UN peacekeepers from these 29 countries are now required to act in cases where civilians are in danger. So in times of quote-unquote a quote-unquote terrorist attack, like for example when you had that attack that happened out in Orlando, okay, and then you have the situation out in Dallas. This article was done on May the 11th, 2016. All right, but it was prepping you for what's to come. All right. Continuing on, it says the Kigali principles are designed to make sure that civilians are not abandoned by the international community again, she said, recalling how UN peacekeepers left Rwanda before the 1994 genocide and Srebrenica before the 1995 massacre. All right, so it's pretty much given the green light to allow the UN to pretty much police the civilians. All right, so now this article here, I have a couple articles here. This is actually an executive order that President Barack Obama had actually signed, which was from the whitehouse.gov, which is their official website, and this was signed on July the 1st. All right, right before the situation took place in Dallas. Okay, it says executive order, United States policy on pre and post-strike measures to address civilians. All right, and the main point that I want to get is section 2. All right, so this is section 2. It says policy in furtherance of U.S. government efforts to protect civilians, U.S. operations involving the use of force in armed conflict or in the exercise of the nation's inherent right of self-defense, and with a new view toward enhancing such efforts, relevant departments and agencies shall continue to take certain measures in present and future operations. All right, subsection A. In particular, relevant agencies shall, consistent with mission objectives and applicable law, including the law of armed conflict, and here's the conflict that they can do: train personnel commensurate with their responsibilities on compliance with legal obligation and policy guidance that addresses the protection of civilians, and on implementation of best practices that reduce the likelihood of civilian casualties, so they can practice things that will reduce the formation of casualties for civilians, including through exercises, pre-deployment training, pre-deployment of them jumping out of helicopters and airplanes, and simulations of complex operational environments that include civilians. For example, Jade Helm is a prime example. All right, and this is number 2. Actually, there's another here. Actually, I'll read number 2. Develop, acquire, and field intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems that, by enabling more accurate battle space awareness, contribute to the protection of civilians. And here's the point that I really want to get is 3 and 4. Develop, acquire, and field weapon systems and other technological capabilities that further enable the discriminate use of force in different operational contexts. And here's 4. Take feasible precautions in conducting attacks to reduce the likelihood of civilian casualties. So now they can conduct attacks that will reduce the quote-unquote likelihood of civilian casualties. All right, if they see something, whereas it could be a quote-unquote terrorist activity, now they can bring the military in to seize the situation. All right, such as providing warnings to the civilian population, so they can provide warnings to the population unless the circumstances do not permit. So now they can go without warning and start attacking civilians if they feel they need to. And this is the military we're talking about. That's why it's in parentheses, unless the circumstances do not permit. Adjusting the timing of attacks, taking steps to ensure military objectives and civilians are clearly distinguished, and taking other measures appropriate to the circumstances. And conduct assessments that assist in the reduction of civilian casualties by identifying risk to civilians and evaluating efforts to reduce risk to civilians. So pretty much, man, you guys can read the whole article on the website that I showed in the beginning, and like I said, I'll try, Lord willing, to post it on the description box. But this gives the military total control to seize the civilians. And it gave you in parentheses, unless the circumstances do not permit. All right, so that means that they can go in without warning and seize the civilians if need be, which is the UN and the United States military, which is gearing up to martial law. This executive order pretty much pushes towards martial law being pushed in America and across the world, which is going to promote the New World Order. All right, so I wanted to grab one scripture here. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15. And this is verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So destruction is coming to the world and the people that dwell in the world. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's what we're seeing coming to now. We're seeing race wars. One people are rising up against another, which is going to lead into the U.S. bringing in military personnel to seize the operations, which was signed in July the 1st, martial law. All right? For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, which is coming very soon. We're seeing it happen. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. All right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. What is that, man? That's martial law, man. They're going to have roadblocks set up, barricades. They're going to be blowing up bridges, blocking highways. It's going to happen very soon. All right? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And it's because of the pride of this place in America and Babylon, man. Everybody proud as hell. So the Lord going to humble this place real quick. It's going to come like a thief in the night, like the scriptures tell you. All right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And there's going to be lack of bread and great tribulation because due to these roadblocks being blocked off, there's going to be no food coming in and no food going out, which is going to be the effects of the martial law that's going to be established, which the law was just signed, man. All right, so Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is making his presence known, man. Death to America. All right, there's going to be millions upon millions of Israelites are going to be destroyed, man. So now is the time that we got to gird up our loins, man, because the Most High is making it known, man, that he's coming back. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is on his way back, man. All right, so I just wanted to bring out this little article, man. All right, so all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, of course. All right, Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. And peace and love and salutation to you elect brothers out there that's kicking the word with truth and sincerity. Shalom.